Hello friends, and welcome to another Collage with Me video. This time we'll be creating a mixed media collage in my 7" by 9.5" art journal. Let me show you the journal. As you can see, there's decorative duct tape on the outside cover. It's also on the inside as well, and I use a discarded book as the substrate. So you're probably seeing some glare right now. Inside is 80-pound drawing paper that I bound using the Coptic stitch. I like to use this Coptic stitch a lot in my art journaling because it helps the journal to lay flat. So let's go over some of the other supplies. The collage papers. I have painted papers here. Some I've already cut up from that I thought I was going to use in other projects, so I'm going to pull those. I have a piece of paper, painted paper that somebody gifted me. And also this is security envelope paper. And you can find some really nice patterns in some of those envelopes. Let's go over our paint. I like matte acrylic paint. And let's see, we have deep red, orange deep, yellow oxide, and off-white. A 1" paintbrush, jar of water, and I like using an old plate as my palette. As you can see, it's well loved and well used. Binder clip, it's always good to have on hand when you're working in an art journal. Glue stick, scissors, some paper towels. And I like having a scrap piece of paper to use as well. And I put this behind the page in my art journal that I'm working on. So I'm trying to avoid getting paint on the other pages in my journal. So those are the supplies we're going to be using. So let's get started. Off camera, I painted the ground, which is the red deep color of the matte acrylic, and that's going to be our first layer. So second layer will be the collage of these different blues, scrap paper. And I kind of have an idea of what I want to do with this collage. I'm going to take the collage materials and I'm going to lay them horizontally, not in the middle, maybe slightly up a little bit, and that's going to be our second layer. So here we go. I need to add another piece right in here. And I'm trying to see if I have another piece that's this light to balance everything out. So let me see what I have. I think at this point, the collage portion, which I just wanted right in this section, looks good. We have some light, some medium, and some dark areas. So I think it looks nice and balanced. The next step is going to add either 2 or 3 of the other color paints on top of this. I want to leave most of this section untouched by paint, but I'm going to layer on top of the red and then some of the edges. So what I'm going to do now is I want to trim this part, and then I'm going to bring out the other paint and we're going to start painting. Now that this edge is trimmed up, we're going to come back and we're going to do our third layer, which will be some of this orange deep matte acrylic paint. And what I'm going to do is take my brush and I'm going to brush down and touch part of this area of the collage and brush up from this direction as well, and touching some of this collage. And I like that some of the red is showing through, because I don't want to lose all of that. But we're just layering on top. Let me see if I can get into some of that areas. I'm going to let this layer dry, and I'm going to come back to see if we need to do a second coat of the orange. I did come back in with the second layer of the orange, and I like it better. So now we're going to go on to the next color, which is the yellow oxide. And I'm going to paint that not as heavily as the orange, just to get it some more colors and more contrast and more depth to our collage. And you can see it's almost a dry brush effect in some of the areas. And again, I want to leave some of the red showing through as well. So I'm going to let this dry, and then we'll come back to see if it needs a second layer, or we'll go on to the off-white color. The yellow oxide layer is dry, and I really like what's going on right here. I like that you can see the 3 layers of our warm colors, the red, the orange, and then the yellow on top. And I like how that's contrasting with the bluer colors here. Now I'm at the point, and I have to decide, do I want to come back in to this with our off-white or not? So I am going to use the off-white, but what I did was I brought out another brush. It's half the size. It's a 1/2 inch as compared to the 1-inch brush we've been using, and it is completely dry, so it's going to give more of a dry brush effect. So I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to just do certain areas to start, see if it needs more of the white or not, and then we'll come back in and discuss it after I do that part. Okay, started coming back in. The white is, the off-white I should say, is almost dry. So I started coming back in at this area for a second coat, and I like it. I like that there's more contrast. Here it looks kind of splotchy, or it doesn't look connected or fused in nicely. So I'm going to continue to add a second coat, and then we'll come back. Here is the finished mixed media collage. I like the way it turned out. I'm glad that I used the off-white paint and that I went in with a second coat. When the artwork just had the yellow layer on top and the blue area, which is the focal point, didn't read as such. The top, the bottom, and the focal point were too similar in value. Now this area reads as the focal point. You can still see hints of the red, orange, and yellow underneath. And with all these layers, it gives this mixed media collage some nice dimension. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video and that you're inspired to create some art. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye now.